Hello and welcome to Sudsy Speeches. I'm your host, Trevor, and this is going to be, well, technically, this is my second episode, but this will be my very first published episode. Reason being is Thanksgiving, and I wanted to have a Thanksgiving themed episode. But we'll get into that later. First, I wanted to talk a little bit about just something that happened to me recently. So, just the other day, I was driving and I was a little bit late to work. And so, on my way to work, there's an intersection, and I was heading north, and then I had to make a right turn onto a one-way street, and there's a light right there. And at that one-way street, I hurried and went, and then I got into the right lane to make a right turn, and then it turned yellow right as I'm about to make that right turn. And it was going to turn red by the time I got there, but I was like, oh, I want to hurry and make this turn before I end up, before these other people start going. So rather than coming to a complete stop after the red, I turn immediately pretty much without even, I probably slowed down a little bit, but man, I made that turn really quick. And then I saw behind me, the cars started to catch up, and there was a cop. And I was just like, oh, are you kidding me? I'm going to get pulled over. I'm already late for work. Are you kidding me? But luckily, it was, I don't know, he didn't pull me over. And I was totally expecting him to, but as they passed me, they were in a different jurisdiction. So I don't know if they weren't allowed to, or if the cop was just like, we'll let this guy go. It's whatever. And then just a heads up, if you are listening on Spotify, you can watch this on YouTube, where I did kind of do a little drawing of what the intersection looked like, but it's nothing too special, nothing that you'd really miss out on. So, all right. Yeah. So this is the podcast where I play Power Washing Simulator virtual reality on the MetaQuest 2 and pretty much ramble along. So today's topic is going to be the ultimate dinner. So, Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving's all about food and family. Can't ever forget family. But to be honest, I am not the biggest fan of the regular Thanksgiving foods. And I don't know, that's just me personally, and I've heard a lot of different opinions from other people. But today I'd like to talk about what the ultimate Thanksgiving dinner would be for me. So, I am a huge, oh, how do I say this? I absolutely love meat. And I know that sounds kind of weird, but I love meat so much. And if I could have, and specifically beef too. So, like, Thanksgiving to me, it's the time of year, or not, I guess it's the one time in the year that you go all out to make the best possible food that you can. So I would want the things that I enjoy the most. I would want my absolute favorite foods to be there, and an ideal, not even ideal, the perfect dinner for me. I'd probably start off with, like, I would love to have a big brisket, a nice juicy smoked brisket, where it's like you've got tons for everybody and they can just cut off their own slices. And that is one thing that I understand is, like, Thanksgiving is supposed to be a type of meal where it's a lot of food for a lot of people. I mean, you got a whole turkey, and that is like usually a ton of food that can feed your whole family. And then mashed potatoes, you just throw in a ton of potatoes and everything. But I still think it's doable. I think it's still doable with beef. And I just think beef is such a better meat than turkey. Turkey just really isn't that great of a meat. I mean, it's okay, and I'm a dark meat person as well, but I also do like to have a little bit of light meat as well on my when I'm eating turkey. But it's like if you sat a brisket in front of me, or like a steak, or I don't know. I'd probably even choose a burger over turkey. And nothing against like turkey. I think it's good, and like, traditionally that's what you eat because that's just what everybody does. But I don't know. I'm not necessarily for the whole traditional thing sometimes, and I feel like if I could do steaks or something different, I wouldn't do burgers. That would be weird because I don't know, the ground beef can be like formed in so many different ways in the first place. So I don't burgers don't seem like a very Thanksgiving type food. I mean, you've got someone who's on the grill who will be like cooking them individually pretty much. It's not like something that you can prepare. But then again, I think a steak would be pretty sweet. Like I said, Thanksgiving's supposed to be about your favorite foods. And for me, that's what it happens to be. So, okay, outside of having that's another thing. Another one of the main meats I would have is a roast. A nice big roast because that's got the almost the same consistency, I guess. Not necessarily consistency, but it's pretty similar to, I guess, having turkey. You'd have a roast, you'd have brisket, you'd have. I would even consider steaks. Yeah, screw it. We'll throw steaks in there. We're making the ultimate dinner here. Ultimate Thanksgiving dinner, however you want. Yeah, I would want steaks. I'd have different steaks for different people. Whatever cut you want, I'd have a bunch of different cuts. And this is also saying like if I had all the money in the world, I would do this as well. So, unlimited possibilities here. I would kind of go nuts, and I think that would be the goal: is to just like make the best thing possible with unlimited resources. So, my favorite part of Thanksgiving has always been mashed potatoes, and that's just a classic for me. I've always loved mashed potatoes mixed in with the gravy. And you want to know what I think is a better mix? Roast and mashed potatoes than turkey and mashed potatoes. You mix in your roast with those mashed potatoes. Oh, get that gravy just like drenched on there. Best food ever. And then also to complement that, so this is something that I'd also mix together. Usually, I'm not the kind of guy who likes to mix foods all that much, but I do love to have uh, corn roast and mashed potatoes all together. And throw some salt and pepper on there as well. That absolutely tops turkey for me. Turkey is just, it's not that good. If I were to rank it again against like all the other meats that I've had before, it wouldn't be the bottom. And especially there's like different cuts and everything. And I've actually had some really good turkey before. Like when it's seasoned properly, I've had some pretty amazing turkey before. I even remember one Thanksgiving we just did like a box, like I don't know, some like store bought box of turkey, and that was like one of the best turkeys that I'd ever had. So outside of that, so we've got the mashed potatoes, we've got our meats, we've got our corn. I also got to understand that a lot of times for Thanksgiving, Thanksgiving is all about having a bunch of family over, and usually when my family does Thanksgiving, it's usually pretty low key. We pretty much stick to close family, which isn't a whole lot of people, and it's kind of nice not having to go to like I don't know. I find it pretty stressful being with a whole bunch of extended family and everything. And so it's really nice just to have it be my close family who I get along with really well. And we're all able to sit down and have a good time, eat a lot of food. And that's the thing is like I'm not saying that a regular Thanksgiving dinner isn't good because like it is. It is really good. You sit down, you eat with your family, you get talking, you joke, and maybe you don't even talk, maybe you just eat and enjoy being in each other's presence, which is always fun. But I'm just saying, if I had the opportunity to kind of do whatever I want, That's what I do. Oh, I totally forgot. So I talked main course. What about some starters? Start with something. Have some starters. So I would do for starters. I love myself a good Caesar salad. I would probably do salads for everyone. A nice Caesar salad, or maybe since I'm heading more towards the, I guess the beef route. Some things that really go good with uh beef type meat. I really like the southwestern salads. Those are really good, and that might be a good starter. I might do that rather than a Caesar salad, but maybe I'd have both options. Yeah, we're talking we can have anything we want here. So yeah, we'll have Caesar for the ones who want it, and then we'll have Southwestern for anyone who wants that. So, and then I'm trying to think of some other sides. Obviously, you can't have Thanksgiving without rolls. Rolls, I would say, are one of the most important Thanksgiving meals, in my opinion. It's something you gotta have. You go to a Thanksgiving dinner and they don't have rolls. It's like, why? And then also being able to just mix the rolls with the gravy and everything. And it's funny that I've talked a lot about mixing with other foods, and I'm just not. I used to never be that guy. I'd always eat my burger first and then eat my fries separate afterwards. And that's just who I am. I don't know why, but like, I don't know, for some reason that mixture of those certain foods is just really good. And maybe it was just a little bit of growing up, I guess. Like, because I do mix a whole lot of my foods now, and I guess I'll complement like my burger now with fries rather than just having them separate. So that's something. There's also other sides that I'd want. Potatoes are so important. Potatoes can be formed and shaped and just like executed in so many different ways to be eaten. They are, I would almost boldly say that they are the backbone of a Thanksgiving dinner. It's like, and not even the mashed potatoes, I guess. Well, maybe okay, not a backbone of Thanksgiving, a backbone food. And the reason I say that is like they can be formed in so many different ways. And there are so many different types of potatoes too. I'm gonna see how many I can name just like right off the top of my head. So we've got fries, we've got baked potatoes, we've got loaded potatoes, we've got what are the fries called? The We've got hash browns. We've got hash browns sorted in different ways. You've got cubed potatoes that you might put in like a breakfast burrito. There's those um, potato muncher things. There are just so many different ways that potatoes can be formed, and like especially the ones that are like filled with cheese too are just absolutely amazing. So in my Thanksgiving dinner, I would have all those things that I named already. And then I'd also have a bunch of different types of potatoes in all of those. Just because like there's a whole lot of potatoes out there. And having many options, you can't disappoint anybody. I don't know if french fries would complement very good. I couldn't imagine there being French fries. I just don't think that would work pretty good. But I feel like a baked potato or loaded potatoes or even hash browns. I feel like a hash brown. There's also what are they called? Crap. Tater tots. Throw some tater tots in there. Why not? But fries don't seem right for some reason. For some reason that doesn't seem right. Let's see. Okay, so we've talked a lot about a main course. We talked a little bit about starters, and we've talked about sides, but some other things we can. So let's talk about what we can get rid of. We can absolutely get rid of whatever that cranberry sauce is. Leave the cranberries alone. They taste amazing just as seeds. There's no need for cranberry sauce or any of that kind of stuff. That's just kind of gross. And then sweet potatoes. I know I was talking a lot about potatoes and how amazing and all the different types and everything. But sweet potatoes are nasty. I'm not saying I wouldn't still have them. I would probably still have them in my Thanksgiving dinner just because of other people, and I understand how much people love sweet potatoes, but man, I've never understood that. I try them every single year. Every single year they're like, "Maybe you'll like them this year." No, I do not. So, and who knows, maybe even this year I'll try it again. But trying to think what else is usually the stuffing. I would keep stuffing in. Stuffing's pretty good, and I don't know. I don't know what they put in stuffing, but I do. I do really like stuffing's got a really good flavor. Oh, vegetables. We haven't talked about any vegetables. Green beans are such a good Thanksgiving vegetable. I absolutely love green beans, especially the shredded ones that come in a can. Just they're like super salty and I love green beans. I don't like them so much like when they're whole. I really like them when they're shredded and not so much when they're whole, but still pretty good. I'm not a huge cooked vegetable person in general. Like if someone offered me cooked peas or cooked carrots, I would much rather take a raw carrot over a cooked carrot. I don't know if this might just be exposing me as a picky eater when really I'm not. I will still eat cooked vegetables. I will 100% still eat cooked vegetables even though I'm just not the biggest fan of them. Like it's like I prefer them raw. I absolutely prefer them raw. But if it's cooked, I'll still eat them. And I do have that understanding of like the different nutrients that you have to put into your body and like how that affects how you work throughout the day. So that part I do really understand. So we've talked about past Thanksgiving stuff or like Thanksgiving stuff that I didn't really mention because I'm kind of making up my own thing here. I've talked about main courses, I've talked about appetizers, talked about sides. The most important part, desserts. Desserts. It's what everyone will skip their last bite to save a little bit of room for dessert. Dessert is what finishes it, it is what satisfies the palate. All those flavors coming together, sitting there for a little bit. Maybe you'll take a little bit of rest, and then here comes dessert, the best part. So since I'm still making up uh my own Thanksgiving dinner or my best whatever, the perfect dinner. That's what I'm making up here. Since I'm making my perfect dinner, I'm going to go with cake for dessert. Reason I say that is pie is not my favorite thing. It probably just sounds like I'm talking so much crap on all the original Thanksgiving foods and everything. And don't get me wrong, there are some really good pies. And usually the pies that I turn to are like the chocolate ones, or there's like some cookies and cream ones that are really good. But though I feel like those are just different versions of a cake. And I feel like a cake is able to pull off those flavors much better than a pie can. And like again, it's I'm kind of the same way with fruits as I am with vegetables where having them cooked just takes out so much. And I wonder if it's like the juices, I guess. Because you eat an apple and you crunch into the apple and it's just like really juicy and flavorful in all the juices and everything. And then when you eat an apple pie though, that's completely different. It's all warm and soggy and doesn't taste at all like an original apple. It completely changes the flavor. And I think it's like you have to have that different flavor taste, I guess. But I don't know because it's interesting because I really like blackberry pies. Blackberry pies are amazing. Those are my favorite type of fruit pie. And I like lemon pies too. And that stuff isn't necessarily, I guess, warm when you eat it because once it's cooled down and even at room temperature, a lemon or a blackberry pie can taste amazing. And but honestly, I'd prefer to have those cold. I'd rather have a cold lemon pie or something like that. There's and then, but my absolute favorite type of pie is banana cream pie. I love banana cream pie. That is so good, and served cold. I don't know if there's a lot of warm pies that I like. Never been a fan of pumpkin pie. Never been a fan of like pecan pie or any of that kind of stuff. Like I understand why people like it, but it's just not for me. So rather than that, I would do cake. And the types of cake I would do, I don't like store bought cake. It's okay. Store bought cake is okay. But um I would much rather have a homemade cake. Or I guess the tuxedo cake is really good. I would have tuxedo cake, or probably my favorite cake has got to be better than sex cake or BTS cake. It's really, I love how, like, it's going to sound weird, but wet and juicy it is. It's just got a really good flavor and it's like really moist too. And I feel like a better than sex cake can almost be prepared, or I think it gets prepared in like a pan. So you'd have enough for like a whole lot of people. You can make a really big one, whereas if you're just making a regular cake, it usually is like in about the size of like a circular can, or cake size. Like cake size. So that's why I would choose that as my dessert. I would much rather have cake than pies, but again, we're talking about we have all the money in the world, so I'd be including some blackberry pie. I guess I'd throw in a pumpkin pie for the people that want it. And I would also be throwing in like uh blackberry pie as well. I don't know if I said that already, but so those would be my desserts. And that's pretty much all. I'm trying to think if I missed anything, like if I missed any really important foods that are usually there. And I get it, each family has their own traditions. Someone always brings something. It's just kind of been weird since my family's pretty low key. We usually do just like a close family dinner. So it's nothing too crazy, but yeah, I really understand why it's fun to get family together and cook a really good meal. That's probably more what Thanksgiving's about. But I'm in it for the food. And if I'm doing it strictly for the food, I'm going to make it my absolute favorite meals and do it however I want. Because who's to say what you can do? Go out and make your own best Thanksgiving dinner that you can. All right, I didn't quite finish the dinosaur here, but I think that's all I've got for right now. Thank you so much for listening. I had fun with this one. I love food. If you like Thanksgiving, then hope you liked it. All right. That'll be all for today. I really hope you enjoyed listening, and I hope to catch you on the next episode. Bye bye.